Not okay to urinate in public. But that's the third letter. The first letter tonight is, she's so soft-natured. She's my best friend rather than the love of my life. How do I let her know that I have to let her go without breaking her heart? Oh. Second letter tonight, change of pace. I was a moderately successful catalogue and photographic model until 5 years ago when I graduated uni as a dentist. But I've never had a boyfriend. And the last letter tonight, as we know, it's not okay to be naked in public. It's not okay to urinate in public. It's not okay to make love in public. What's this all alluding to? Keep viewing. 20 seconds, Sweet and Sour. Terrific international lot of panellists tonight. Sweet and Sour, 20 seconds. Don't go away. Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, cause baby it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar on there, baby.
It's time for Sweet and Sour. Welcome to Sweet and Sour. Terrific to have your company. Gary Mitchell with you for the next fun-filled half an hour. Who have we got on the panel tonight? Who are our agony aunts in? All the way from London. First up, hello Leffy 6.
Good evening, everyone.
How are you, mate?
I'm very well, thank you.
Welcome
Gary.
all the way from the old dart.
Thank you.
Why am I calling you Leffy 6?
I thought this would come up.
Why would you think that?
Very quickly.
Very quickly.
Young man, 6 years old, immigrated, came over to Australia, not a word of English. I had to be interviewed to be entered into school. So I got good advice from my uncle. He said, there are two questions the head teacher will ask you. He'd say, what is your name and how old are you? So when he says, what is your name, you say Leffy. Then he's going to say, how old are you? You go to 6. When no one would have dreamt that the head teacher would have said, hello, young man, what is your name and how old are you? So someone who doesn't understand said, Leffy 6.
And he's been Leffy 6 ever since. Welcome, Leffy 6. Good to have you on the panel.
Thank you.
Sitting next to Leffy 6. Hello, Angie.
Hello.
Okay. Pink bits and all that sort of thing, but how is the lingerie going?
The lingerie is doing extremely well.
And the website is?
babydollglamour.com.au.
I know the song. Lauren.
Hello.
Welcome, hun.
Oh, yeah.
Any catwalk stuff to speak of?
No.
Why?
Cause?
Cause?
Can't be bothered. I have to go to the gym for that.
You can't be bothered. You do, don't you?
Yeah.
Good to have you back.
Thank you.
Seamus.
Hello.
All the way from London as well.
I haven't done any catwalk stuff lately either.
Why not? Hung your
Look at
boots
the
up.
gut, boy! You'd hardly believe I used to be a nude model, would you? But there we are.
Terrific to have you here, mate.
Good to be here.
Excellent. All right. Have you had a look at the letters?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
And in a word, do you think?
I think there are a lot of not very bright people about.
All right. Well, we'll see what you've got to say to him a bit later. Here we go. First letter comes to us all the way. Oh, not too far. WA, Corrine. Dear Mitch and panel, writes Dylan. She's a really gorgeous girl. Has everything going for her. Attractive, lovely-natured, clever. She really is a prize. It's just that she's my best friend rather than the love of my life. We've known each other for years, but we got hot for each other, as you do, at a mutual friend's party. Anyway, that was all of around 6 months ago, and it's coming up to our half-year anniversary, so she keeps reminding me, and I really need to let her know that she's not for me. I just don't want to break her heart. She's so soft-natured. I don't know what to say to or do to let her know exactly how I feel without hurting her. Every time I mentioned as much previously, which has always been in an argument, she becomes teary, emotional, and I feel like a heel for bringing it up. My sister gave me that talk, the one that goes along the lines that I wouldn't like it if my sister was wasting her time because she was being led on by some bloke. So I have to act. I just really need to know how to be kind and loving and to let her go at the same time. As I said, Dylan of Corrine, WA, we're going straight to Angie. What can he do? He doesn't want to break her heart.
Look, I think, Dylan, you're not being honest to yourself or to her, and I think that you're just so comfortable with each other that you're both afraid to actually let go of one another and actually go and seek a real lifelong
He wants
partner.
to let her go.
Well, he can.
He's being real.
He's not
He
being
just
real.
doesn't want to be awful to her.
He doesn't have to be awful. And, you know, she's going to keep on crying and putting on the tears because she doesn't want to let you go because she's just, you're it for her. But, you know, you just have to let the tears go, let her cry and just move on. And if you don't do it, you're never going to do it and you will be stuck there.
Going to be stuck there.
Yeah, just let her down nicely, but you just have to ignore the tears because she's always going to put them on.
Leffy, is he going to be stuck there if he doesn't do anything?
I think that this young man has to get a life.
He has to get a life.
I actually think, I read along here where it says, she's my best friend. We've been friends forever. And yet I go to a party, have a few drinks, and we get the hots for each other. Hello? Where are we at?
Have you never done this?
I haven't got it. I mean, not after a few drinks, I can get hot for everyone, but not to my best friend. And also, he says I don't know how to let her go. Boy, there's only one way to do it. You've got to be cruel to be kind. You've got to get it done and over with. Let the girl go. Eventually, she will or might become your friend again. But you are leading her on. You're stopping her. Every time you start saying, she starts crying. A few tears, and you say, all right, darling, I love you, and we're off again. No. Let her go. You've got to be cruel to be kind. Remember that. It is very, very important.
I know the song. Do we know who sang it? Cruel to be kind in the right measure.
Cyndi Lauper?
Cyndi Lauper.
No.
She must have
No.
I don't know, I was born 89, I don't know much.
You got problems.
Seamus, come on in, mate. What's going on here?
Well, what I can't understand is if she's
You're
so
hugging yourself.
if she's so gorgeous, what is she doing with a dick like you? She could obviously have her pick. I think that you're being a bit totally egotistical about the whole deal. Also, I think that, I don't know what country you're in, but in my country, 6 months is not a lifetime's commitment. You hardly know anybody after six
Yeah, that's
six
very
months.
true. It's only a brief relationship.
It's not
so
as
far.
though you're expected to walk down the aisle because you've known somebody for 6 months. So just say goodbye forever if that's what you want to do.
Rather difficult.
Can he actually keep the relationship going as a friendship? Or does that never happen?
He can't. There's an American song, and it's kind of it's a very similar situation. And the fella says, "And don't expect me to be your friend," right? And I'm with the fella.
Okay.
You know, and if you want to be friends. The other thing is that it's asking the impossible. I just really need to know how to be kind and loving and let her go at the same time. Well, it's a bit like asking for a creme de menthe frappe without the ice. You can't do both, right?
Okay. All right, can't do it.
You can't do it.
Are the boys right? Can't do it?
I agree with everyone.
Oh, boring show.
I know,
You're
I know.
agreeing with everybody.
I
Oh.
know. He's complaining about a few tears. It's better than 2 kids 20 years down the track and having to deal with that sort of thing. You are going to have... It is possible to be friends with someone after you break up, but it's going to take time. She's going to hurt, you know. You say here that whenever you have an argument, it comes up. Don't do it in an argument. You need to sit her down and explain to her, look,
Quite right.
I don't want this.
Quite right.
You know, and you have to let her know, because the longer this goes on, the more she's going to hurt. So I do agree with everyone. And when you have a few drinks, just don't fall for your best mate.
Don't fall for
Oh,
your best
that
mate.
is a good conclusion.
Have you got rid of anybody?
I have, yes.
And what was the way that you...
You just have to be honest. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with them. It's
Where do you
the-
take them? To
when-
tell them? Or is it over the phone?
No,
or is it in a
no,
text
no,
message?
No, you do it face to face, and you do it in a private place. So if they cry, you know, it's not more embarrassing for them. So.
Do you know it's very, very sad when someone does it over a telephone?
Oh,
Yeah.
They are the weakest, most
you do it to their face.
unmentionable people in the world.
Don't do it
Or
on the
text
telephone.
message?
Don't do it in a text message. Where
Don't
else
do
don't
it.
you do
That's
it?
right.
No.
Don't do it in
Face
a
to face.
public lavatory.
As they would say, be a man and tell them.
Be a man. We've got to go on to the next letter, but we'll have a break first. When we come back, we've just been talking about how to get rid of someone. Well, our next lady who writes in has never had a boyfriend. When we come back, how to get a boyfriend.
Baby,
It's time for sweet and sour.
how's about some chili?
We got a good mob in tonight. If you'd like to send us a letter, send it to the address that's about to appear on the screen, which is letters@sweetandsour.net.au. Did I get it right, Paddy? I did indeed. Thumbs up. And every letter that lands here we'll scrutinise, and if we really love them, we'll give them to the panel to chew up. And for every one that we do discuss, we're going to send you to the movies, courtesy of Natalie Cameron, who gets married very, 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 very soon, early December. And the movie tonight that we're sending you to is Red, which I've seen, and it's terrific. Here we go. Hello, panellists. I'll come straight out with it. I've never had a boyfriend. Next year I'll be 30, and I've never had a boyfriend. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a virgin or anything. I had sex for the first time when I was in my late teens, but that was more through peer pressure. Since then, I've had some one night and almost 3 night stands, but nothing more than that, and usually when I was on a holiday and travelling somewhere. I'm not unattractive. A lot of people say that, but I was a moderately successful catalogue and photographic model until 5 years ago when I graduated from uni as a dentist. So I figure I could be considered a bit of a catch, but for some reason I'm not. My mum says it's because I have an aloof air, whatever that is. I agree I'm not much good at small talk, but is that a failing? I'm very effeminate, I'm still very fit and healthy looking. I go out very often with my girlfriends, all of whom have tried to set me up with guys. I've been on 100 set-up dates, but I never get asked out on the follow-up. I have a girlfriend who, unfortunately for her, has the worst body odour on the surface of the earth. Even she managed to get married 2 years ago. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Some tips for getting a boyfriend would be very much appreciated, and it comes to us from Michaela of Manly in New South Wales. Lauren, what's this poor dear doing wrong? She's glamorous, she's smart, she's a dentist even, good earning capacity. But
I reckon she's putting it out too easy, to tell you the truth. I reckon...
Too easy?
Yep, I reckon she said, I'm not a virgin or anything. I've had a few one-night stands, maybe 3-night stands. I reckon maybe she's sleeping with them on the first date. That's why they're not calling her back. That's maybe just a theory.
So you don't do that?
No, not at all.
Oh.
If you want a man to respect you and think that you're a lady and could possibly have a relationship with you, you don't spread your legs on the first date, you know? So
Right.
maybe have a look at that.
I'll remember that when I'm out next. All right.
I don't know.
Me too.
But maybe the right man just hasn't come along yet. I'm just going to ignore that one. There's a lid for every pot, and maybe just he hasn't come along yet. You'll find your Prince Charming, but you've just got to kiss a few frogs on the way. So good luck.
She's kissed a lot of frogs. What are you talking about?
That's what I
I'm sorry, she hasn't kissed many frogs.
Well,
She's had sex
one
when
night.
she was 18, and then 3 times it went up to the age of 30. I don't know
No.
what she's doing. Yes.
Seamus?
Well, I think that what I'd say to the lady is that if she's reached the age of 30 without having a boyfriend, it's because she doesn't really want one. Because it's almost impossible to go through life from to 30 if you have any inclination at all in having a boyfriend or a girlfriend to avoid it, because there's always somebody that wants you, and you sound like you're quite an attractive woman, and people will have made a go for you. And I think that you're it's this old peer pressure thing. I mean, in the 19th century, you would be allowed to be a woman alone or a man alone. But we're living in an age where it seems to be you have to have a partner or you're not complete. And everybody you know seems to expect you to settle down with somebody. And there is absolutely no reason why you should commit yourself to a man or a woman or anybody if you don't feel like it, and you probably don't want a boyfriend, so there's no point in giving you tips in getting one because you don't want
She doesn't really want one. Seamus says she doesn't want it. Leffy?
Well,
Why would she write to us if she didn't want a boyfriend?
It's peer
I
pressure.
think
She
peer
only thinks
pressure.
she does.
I
Yeah,
actually
maybe.
think that some people write in, some for genuine reasons and some just to
'Cause they
to
knew you were up there on
they
the show.
knew they've got to hear something from a panel and their names mentioned. Now, I've got 2 points here. One, a long time. I think that this woman of 30 should look at herself in the mirror. Maybe she ought to question her sexuality.
I don't think so.
I think so all the time. 100 blind dates and not one person rings back.
I think she'd know.
Hello, something is going wrong somewhere. That's my first point.
But she wouldn't need us to tell her.
Well, maybe she does. You don't always, it doesn't always
That's
come
what
naturally.
I said. You should be allowed to be 30 and be alone. You don't have to be homosexual or lesbian just because you don't have a partner.
No, I said, I didn't say
You
she
said she
was.
should question her sexuality.
I said she should question it. I didn't say she should say that I am. What I'm saying is that there is a question there, and she ought to put that query to herself in a mirror. Secondly, I just don't understand. Do you think it is the career woman syndrome here? She goes out with all these guys. I'm beautiful. I'm a model. I've done this. I'm a dentist.
She's intimidating.
How intimidating can you get?
She's intimidating.
And not only intimidating, she frightens the poor buggers away.
She does. Her mum says she's aloof.
Yeah. And not only
And she
that,
doesn't have small talk. She
That's
just
right.
sits there.
How about
That
stepping?
would scare me.
In my
With
opinion, how
palates
about
this sweet, they'll
stepping?
never leave a sour taste in your mouth.
What?
We don't know what that was. Doesn't matter. Keep going. Someone's
How-
yelling something up from the...
Something about a sour
Control
taste in your
room.
mouth?
How about stepping a few ranks down on this ladder? And if you really want a boyfriend, and if you really want to have someone to have a partner with them, whatever, sexual or non-sexual, whatever you like, be a bit more giving.
A little bit more
Find
giving.
yourself. be gentle. Don't frighten the poor men away.
Come on, Angie. Last word on this one. I
Okay.
figure she's just a cold bitch.
Michaela-
Are you right? Are you almost right?
Okay, Michaela, you are a slutty, stuck-up whore. That's what you are. And that's the end
we
of
were
it.
beating around the bush.
Yes,
young girl.
I'm going to come straight out and say it. You know, you've said here that your friend has the worst body odour, but yeah, she can get married. And who the hell do you think you are? Okay, that's why I don't have a boyfriend, because you are a slut and you love being a slut.
Yes.
Full stop.
That told you, Michaela.
When we come back, I think we want to talk more on this letter, right? We're talking about breastfeeding in public. Don't go away. More of Sweet and Sour when we come back.
With palates this sweet, they'll never leave a sour taste in your mouth.
Oh, we're back. They're rowdy tonight. We're going to go straight into the letter. Dear Mitch and panel. Look, I'm fed up with this notion that if it's natural, it's okay, because it just isn't necessarily so. I'm a mum who raised and breastfed 4 children, and I'm the first one to advocate that breast is best. But I'm sick of these women who go on crusades to breastfeed in public. It's not okay to be naked in public, it's an offence. It's not okay to urinate in public, it's an offence. It's not okay to make love in public, it's an offence. All of these are natural. All of these cause some varying degrees of discomfort for the public, and that's why they're not permitted in public. Breastfeeding is identical. It can cause some varying degree of discomfort and embarrassment to the onlooker, even though it's natural. I was always discreet when I found myself needing to breastfeed when I was in the public domain, and I made sure I was appropriately covered. Is it such a major impost on anyone to cover up with a small blanket? I think not. It also seems that the media has been intimidated by the she-Nazis of this world into supporting public breastfeeding or risk being labelled politically incorrect and misogynistic. We don't have naked newsreaders or naked television presenters, and until such time as we do, we shouldn't have breasts allowed in public for any reason, natural or otherwise. It comes to us from Maria of Prospect in South Australia. Leffy 6, you're up first, mate.
Well, I kept reading this letter over and over and looking at it, thinking, how can you compare something like breastfeeding, which is the most natural thing in the world, of feeding your baby, an infant, to all these things like bonking on the side or sort of pissing on a car. Or, these are not the things that you can compare this innocent
To breastfeeding.
to breastfeeding. Breastfeed, right, I agree with some points in here. Yes, a bit of discretion goes a long, long way. You can cover yourself, but there is no way that you can compare all these things in there. I actually think if Maria thinks that we've got a way to naked, believe it, presenters on television. I think in America there is a television program.
Yeah,
They are naked people. So in that state, they're allowed to breastfeed very, very openly. But I do feel, Maria, although some of your points, one point about discretion is there, I don't think you can compare it. I think that freedom, you are free. You cannot tell people what to do. I actually think breastfeeding is a good thing, and I think if it's done in public with discretion, then yeah.
All right, a big yeah from Leffy. Angie?
Well, I'm going to ditto what Leffy just said, because you need to just get with the times, Maria, because it is the most natural thing, and you are feeding your baby. I mean, you know, who else is going to feed this baby that's going to be crying out because it's hungry? So, yes, and you cannot compare it.
She doesn't mind that.
No, but that's right. With discretion, what is she on about?
She covered herself up in public. She's obviously on about the women who were just sitting there.
Well, you
in
know
public.
what?
Do many people do that though?
No, I don't think they do. I don't think they do. So she must just be on the hunt for those people.
She's the she-Nazi.
Yes, you are.
Laura?
I'm just a bit disappointed in Maria. As a mother herself, she should know when you're in the middle of the shops, you don't have a blanket, your baby's crying because it needs some food, what else are you going to do? You know, you've got to feed your baby. So if you're stuck in that situation, you know what, if you get that disgruntled or if you're that uncomfortable about seeing a boob, don't look. Don't bloody look, you know? So good on them. If you are discreet, I agree with it, and there are times where you have to...
There are some workplaces, though, where it is distracting.
Yes. I do agree.
And inappropriate.
If she was in...
We've had a big debate in Western Australia.
With the Parliament and things like that. Look, as Ange said before, there are breast pumps and things like that. So you can use those, but seriously, if your baby's crying and it needs to be fed, it needs to be fed. So... But
do it discreetly?
Do it discreetly.
Last word on this to a man. Seamus.
Well, Maria, my advice to you, darling, is to learn to look the other way. These things cannot be legislated for. What are you going to do? Call the tit police if you see a woman feeding her baby in public? Get real. Thank you.
Seamus, did you like this letter to give away the pair of limited edition glasses? She could hide behind them, or do you like one of the others?
I think the best letter is the first one because the second letter was totally self-obsessed. The third letter is from a Nazi Frau, and the first one is the only one that shows any concern for anybody else but themselves.
Panel agree?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. To Dylan of Kareen, who needs to break up with his girlfriend, a pair of limited edition sunnies coming out from Sweet and Sour and Aussie Opticals.
Especially Dylan, as I called you a dickhead, I'm glad you got it.
Leffy, terrific to have you on the panel, mate.
Thankful. I was fabulous being here.
Fantastic.
I think I'll travel over again.
All right, well, when you're back, come and visit us. Angie, good to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having
All
me
right,
again.
We'll see you again soon.
You will.
Lauren, we'll see you again soon too.
Yes, thank you. Please.
All right. Seamus, you
Very
leave us fairly
exciting.
shortly as well.
Very exciting, thank you.
We'll see you when you're back.
Yes, indeed.
All right, mate.
Okay.
We've got to go. Thank all our wonderful panellists. Thank our terrific crew. And thanks for having us at home tonight, Australia. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.